Just general topic 9 stuff. We'll start at the beginning. Do you remember how to find a geometric mean?
Times and then square root.
Multiply them and then take the square root. I'm going to choose to do 15 and 10 because the answer is a little nastier than 12 and 3. So multiply 15 and 10 together. Step 1, multiply. Step 2, take the square root. Please answer with the simplest radical form. Who missed this? Okay, was that yesterday? No. The simplest radical form. We're looking for two numbers that can make 150, and we're hoping that one number is a perfect square. Student response, Aaron.
25 and 6.
25 and 6 is a great option. I can do 150 is the same thing as 25 times 6. Now, I can take square roots independently now. What is the square root of 25?
5.
Can I take the square root of 6?
No.
So your answer is simply 5 square roots of 6. That is the geometric mean of 15 and 10. Yes, sir. It's just kind of in your head. I'll show you, Elijah, that's a terrible answer for a teacher to give a student, right? You just got to know, bro. There is a lot of different ways to do it. Like, what would you have thought of if you didn't think of 25 and 6?
You put decimals in radical.
Like, what if you saw 150, what would you do? Well, 12 times 12 doesn't make 150. Like 15 and 10? Okay, so if you did 15 and 10, it's okay. It just makes the process a little longer. 15 times 10 is 150. But I don't have any pairs there, right? Or I don't have any perfect squares. So now I'm going through the route of, I'm going to keep breaking stuff down. Well, I can do 3 times 5 to make 15. And I can do 2 times 5 to make 10. So now in this scenario, you have a pair of 5s that can leave. And you don't have any more pairs. 3 and 2 don't make a pair. So you just have to multiply them together. And you get 5 square roots of 6. So there's no wrong way to do it, but there's like a smart way and there's like a longer way.
That makes so much more sense.
Yeah, I was about to say, that makes no, it
Oh.
doesn't.
Okay, well, I like that.
Okay, because, so what happens here is 5 times 5 is 25, but that's like saying the square root of 5 squared. So you can take a pair of numbers and exit the club together. That kind of makes sense? You exit club radical. That's what I tell the regular kids, right? This is club radical. Everyone's dancing in the club. A 3 is not going to take a 5 home. Right? But a 5 will take a 5 home. So the 5s will share an Uber home together. Here they are. There's a 5 in the Uber. And then a 3 and a 2 are just left chilling inside all by themselves. So they 3 times 2 is 6. It becomes a 6 on the inside. So it doesn't matter how you do it. So in this scenario, I know I'm killing this question. Sorry. We had 25 times 6. You can do 5 times 5 times 6. And this pair of 5s can leave together. Or you can just take the square root of 25. So it's a way to decrease the amount of mathematics that you're doing. Miles, I'm ready.
What if you get like different simplified radicals, but they equal the same thing? Like I don't remember what it was, but like the other week, I simplified a radical, and it was as simplified as it could be in that form. And someone else got something different, but they equaled the same thing.
So then theirs wasn't as simplified. So here's a good scenario for that happening.
Just do 12 and 3.
So in this scenario, you could do, right? And you're like, hey, I can take the square root of 25. And then most of you will stop there. But that's not simplified. It's not.
Because 8 has 4.
Well, the square root of 4 is 2. And 2 times 5 is 10. So you actually get which is, it's okay. You can keep the process going. Now, if you had noticed that is the same thing as 100 times 2, the square root of 100. There's no wrong way to do it. There's just slow ways and there's fast ways. Guys, what is Thursday's topic?
Radicals.
Simplifying radicals.
Simplifying.
We're going to get there. We're a little backwards right now. So this one's a nice fat whole number. You're welcome. I think you can do it. Maybe. All right, now as we get to stuff like this, it's just straight up, here's a proportion, cross multiply and solve for x. You're like, not bad, right? 80.
20x.
20x.
Divided by 2. Both sides.
4 equals x. Not 4x.
Sorry.
Yeah, it is different.
Same thing.
But maybe on the test it looks like that over there.
You don't have that on our paper.
I know, because it's not on your review.
Oh.
Can I
So
write it down?
maybe you might see one like that on your review if you write it on there, on that one piece of paper that's blank on the back.
One piece of paper.
Hey, there it is. I don't know, that's a great place to take notes for a targeted review question.
Wow.
So guys, I don't want to speed through this. Most of us are still kind of struggling with this concept. I'm fairly confident, and I'm going to do this the long way.
Okay.
Multiply both of these terms. That looks like this. X plus 6 times x plus 6 equals 24 times x. That is literally what happens when you cross multiply. Now it's the actual cross multiplication that concerns me. You ready?
Go.
X plus 6 times x plus 6 is that FOIL method. X times x.
Oh, shot.
X times 6. Positive 6x. 6 times x.
Positive.
Positive 6x.
36.
Positive
Positive
36. 24 times x.
24x.
Now, I'm going to stop there. I know I went kind of rapidly, but do you see the answer and see where it came from? Cool, right? So the next step in the process is to combine like terms. Generally, you're going to have just 2 x terms in the middle that are the same.
Oh, I know this one.
Yes? Everybody comfortable?
Yes.
Questions, comments, concerns, hugs, free candy. Okay, now what?
Use.
Oh,
Set it
you
equal to
take
0.
24x and minus it.
Set it equal to 0. X squared minus 12x plus 36 equals 0.
So now,
Hold on, let me scroll up.
Man, I wish my clear packet.
Okay, now
Wow.
what?
Oh,
this
you
is your original answer.
Factor.
Sixes are negative.
Factor.
X.
Factor. Aaron, I see what you're doing, but not everybody else sees that. I'm looking to factor that. Now, I need to take the number 36 and find all the factors of 36. That could possibly make negative 12.
6 and 6. Negative 6 and negative
So
6.
specifically, negative 6 and negative 6, because negative 6 times negative 6 is positive 36. And negative 6 and negative 6 add together and make negative 12. Those are factors. They are not answers.
Because then you have to equal them to 0.
X minus 6 equals 0. Do I have to write it again?
No.
No. So I have x equals 6 is my answer.
Dang.
Now, if you were able to plug it back in, you could see it would be 6 over 12 equals 12 over 24, which is that 1/2 relationship. Kind of makes sense, right? Probably one of the toughest questions, or a question like that you will see tomorrow. Something in my eye.
2020.
Okay.
Now.
Okay. Do we need to go over questions like this? Is anybody concerned with a question that looks like this proportion? Is anybody feeling any discomfort, or do you feel confident with this? Confident? Just make sure it's 8 times x and 8 times -3. Oh, Mary and Joseph. You know what? There you go. Reorganizing proportions.
Oh, I know that one.
Yes, sir.
I have a question on 8.
Yeah,
Number 8. You guys skipped ahead of me. Here we go. So the teacher and me would say, make sure cross products are the same. Okay? So I have A times D and C times B. You can read these left and right, or up and down, or right and left and down and up. Huh? What did I multiply A by?
C.
What?
Oh, by D.
A times D. So that means that A has to be on the bottom. What is C being multiplied by?
B.
B. And you can look that we just changed it to D over C equals B over A. We read them up now. So Y over 3 and 2 over Z. Now we're reading it this way. Y over 2 equals
3 over Z.
Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Are our cross products the same? Y times Z and 3 times 2?
Yep.
Yeah, they're the same thing. And then number 9 is just like, what is X?
So you just.
You literally just cross multiply and solve for X. And then here we are for this one. X over 7 equals B over 2. You get 7B cross multiplying this way, and you get 2X cross multiplying that way. Right? So if I put B over 2, I would get 2x plus 14. If I cross multiply this way, I would get 7b. Well, what am I? Is the equation balanced? So what do I need? I need it to be 7b plus 14, right? So you can achieve that by doing this. Now 7 times b is 7b, and 7 times 2 is positive 14. So the cross product's balanced. You will not see that on your test. Not see that on your test. You'll see something like this or something like this. Just reorganize and make sure cross products match.
That's simple.
Right? That was super nerdy, that one, and me and Miss Brown had to like talk and figure that one out. Cool? Maybe Wheel of Death, here we go. In this scenario, what shortcut proves similarity? And then write a similarity statement. Angle, because I have 1, 2 pairs of congruent angles. This is the angle shortcut. They named it triangle ABC. When you start driving, you'll understand. Is it okay with that? Are we all right? Does that concern anybody?
Would there, like, let's speak hypothetically, on
on the test, what if there's like no numbers at all? But in like the question it says like you use the. Yeah.
Like this one?
Yes. So it'd be.
Number 12, it's still angle.
It is angle.
Because alternate interior angle.
How? Because this line and this line are parallel.
So the angle.
So you know that this angle and this angle are alternate interior angles and congruent. You should be able to justify that this angle and this angle are congruent alternate interior angles. And you should be able to justify that these angles are vertical. So you just kind of follow your congruent marks. You can go from 1 congruent mark to 2 congruent marks to 3 congruent marks. Let's see what they did. They did G, H, I. They went 2, 1, 3. So you must follow the same path. 2, 1, 3. Which is J, K, I.
Oh, it's proportion.
Does that make sense? Make sure you follow your marks correctly. So generally when you have two triangles that are between parallel lines, they're rotationally proportional to each other. So make sure you kind of catch that. That's why we talked about transformations before we talked about this. Anything else in that section that we want to talk about? So this one's kind of a new one. You are going to be unable to do this. That's not possible because the shape has no letters. Duh. Homeboy, my scale factor. Huh? Is it 2/3? We're trying to go this direction. So this is your new shape. This is your old shape. A scale factor is denoted by the image over the pre-image. Pick any pair of numbers that correspond.
12 and 8.
So it goes 8 over 12. You have to reduce that to 2 over 3. That scale factor is less than 1. Does it appear that the shape has reduced in size? Okay, check. Scale factor is 2/3. Now what?
No, you just.
So how do you know which way you were going though?
I'm assuming we always go left to right.
Okay.
If 2/3 wasn't there and 3/2 was there, you could pick that one because it's a scale factor going in the other direction. So I can take all the numbers on this side and multiply them by 2/3 and it would equal the numbers over here. So 12 times 2/3 is 8. 24 times 2/3 is 16, which makes this number right here. That's using a scale factor to find the length. 24 times 2/3, 16. If you don't believe me, you can do new shape over old shape equals, and you get the exact same answer with just a lot less mathematics. Because this is 2/3. So now where it gets a little weird is when you go back the other way. So instead of multiplying by 2/3 to go this way, you have to multiply by 3/2 to go that way. You have to flip the scale factor. So 10 times 3/2 would be 15. That's like 15 divided by 2. What? Right? You don't believe me?
Calculator.
10 times 3 is 30. Divided by 2 is 15. So y is 15. And then 12 times 3/2 would be 18. You know how I'm doing that so quick? I find half of 12, which is 6, and I do 3 of those, which is 6, 6, and 6 is 18. Yeah, mine does. It's just different, right? I have to figure out how your brain is trying to work and then supplement that with how I'm saying it. So the next question is eerily similar to that. You're not going to be able to do this, and you're going to get a much ickier scale factor. So you might just have to set up individual proportions to solve for W, X, Y, and Z. If you were gone yesterday, here's what you missed. You picked a great day to be absent. Okay? This is an angle bisector. This angle bisector separates my proportions. You have a proportion right here, and you have a proportion right here. The only thing that you're missing is your vinculum.
The line.
The line that separates the numerator and denominator. So you have 10 over 6 equals 15 over x. 15 times 6 is 90. 10 times x is 10x. Divide both sides by 10, and you get 9 equals x. Easy peasy, fresh and squeezy, right? Let's save the hardest concept for last. Is it alright? Yeah or no? That's it. So, yes.
So,
Hold on.
I'm just confused. So let's say the line is like really, really close to another number, and you're not sure if it's above the line or under the line. Well, how would you like? So let's say it's in like with that corner, and it goes all the way to the far corner in the right hand, and like.
If it was like this,
Yes. Kind
Yeah,
of.
I
How
say-
would you?
the angle bisector separates your proportions. So this is still your proportion over here, and this is still your proportion over here. It doesn't matter if you read them up and down or down and up, as long as you're consistent. You go bottom over outside, you have to go bottom over outside. If you go outside over bottom, you have to go outside over bottom. Alright? Hey, same thing here. Hey, your angle bisector separates your proportions. This is a proportion, and this is a proportion. So you literally get, and you're going to have to solve this by yourself. Cross multiply and solve. No factoring here, just algebra 1. I'm trying.
So when you did the equation, how did you get 90?
Math. I'll do it again. We got 10 over x equals
No.
15
10 over 6.
equals 15 over x. 15 times 6 is 90. Mental math, I guess I should say. My math is just faster than your calculator. It's just 10 years of practice, guys. If you've been doing this for 10 years, you'll be like, oh yeah. Wait till you get to sine, cosine, tangent, especially right triangles. It's gonna blow you away. Huh? Alright, this one's a little different. This is the other one that we did. So this one's not an angle bisector. This is just multiple parallel lines. It's a little easier to see. All the numbers on the left are one proportion. All the numbers on the right are the other proportion. You're just missing your vinculum. 4 over 3 equals x over 6. 8. Huh?
The line.
Oh. That is the vinculum. It's just fun to say. Who was it? Mr. Barry, the physics teacher, told him about a vinculum today, and he was like, what? He didn't know that. It's like
That's
the
a
most,
cool word.
it's the most random thing in mathematics. Okay, please don't fall for the trap. What do you do, Taylor?
You do, well, hold on.
That, see, you fell
Oh,
for the
no,
trap.
no, no,
What
you
do you
do
do?
12 over x and then 20 over 24 minus x.
Why would you do that?
Because you have to subtract the distance.
No, you don't.
Oh,
Guys, this is literally
I see.
day 1. You do small length over small length equals side over side.
What?
Because I did base. I mean, okay, if you don't like that, you can do base over base equals side length over side length.
Yeah,
It was better the other way?
Yeah.
Okay, here is the other way. I did small triangle over small triangle. And then I did large triangle over large triangle.
I did not see that.
And the cross products are exactly the same thing.
Well, I was thinking like side splitter theorem, and then it was like.
So that's why it's there, right? When we first started this, I gave you guys two triangles that look like this. And I was like, this is 12, this is 20, or
This is 12.
I said this is 12 and this is X, and this is 20 and this is 24. And you're like, oh, it goes left side over left side, bottom over bottom. Now they're just like overlapping each other.
Okay.
Kind of, yeah. So it looks like side splitter. You can use side splitter. I'm sure it will work. It's just the math is much ickier.
So difficult. You wouldn't even know the other side. Please don't go back.
This
Please
one,
don't go back.
this
No,
one.
I said please don't.
Oh, you just.
Go ahead, Hallie.
For this one, would you add the 8 and the x because it's the same thing as the one we did before where it's bottom on the bottom? Or like,
She got so quiet.
you know what I'm saying?
So here's what Hallie's asking. Do I do small triangle?
Over small triangle.
You want to do it like that?
Yeah. And then 8 plus
8
x.
plus x over 7.
And then you cross.
Oh, let's see what happens. Oh. 24 plus 3x equals 7x.
Minus 3x on both sides.
You got it?
Callie, you okay?
No, no.
Well, you said what? I mean Callie.
Like you're confusing me.
Dude, I don't even know what I'm saying.
6.
So
So you can't.
Yes. But what about, would this have worked?
No.
no.
No, it would not have.
What did you do with the add x?
Why is that? Why does side splitter not work here?
Because it's not the full side lane.
It's not outside compared to outside.
Oh,
I can't compare the lengths of parallel lines inside the triangle. So now that you have all these tricks, you gotta differentiate when you can use them. No worky.
Why did you drop your different strokes for different folks' catchphrase?
Oh, sorry. You want,
That's where I got it from.
you want to hear my college professor's phrase?
Yeah, sure.
There's what do you say? There's many different methods for dissecting the epidermis of a feline.
Explain.
It's just like different ways to skin a cat.
Oh.
And you would say it like super nerdy. Different strokes for different folks, you know? So, and this was the last one you guys missed. This was the corollary to the side splitter. And realistically, once you circle your proportions, the vinculum is there, you can see your proportions. You get 2x minus 3 over 6 and 2x plus 1 over 8. It is just your hope and dream to cross multiply and solve correctly.
Yay.
I think it's 7.5.
Were you just giving us the answer?
Oh, sorry. Huh?
Leave it as a fraction or doesn't?
Do you understand what 7.5 is?
7 and then half of a 1.
Leave it as a fraction.
I am bilingual. I understand that 7.5 and 15 over 2 are the same thing. I am like fluent in multiple language. I also understand
Is that what you meant by that answer?
Alright.
that 30 over 4 and 15 over 2 and 7.5 are all the same number.
I was like,
Yeah?
Wait, is that what you were saying yesterday?
Yeah, you walked by me and you were like, I'm bilingual, and walked away. I was like, what do you mean by that?
I also understand mixed fractions.
Oh, those are hard.
Okay, I guys have many different languages I speak.
Different strokes.
I just-
different-
Different strokes for different folks. I just don't know how to speak idiot yet. I'm still working on that one.
Oh, I can teach you on that.
Yikes.
Dude, I'm good at
Here,
that.
you'll get a
So in this scenario, we have multiple triangles kind of where our side lengths are assumed to be proportional if the triangles are similar.
Hey, they are.
How do you know
The
that?
AA theorem.
The AA theorem, because you get vertical angles. Please don't fall for the trap, okay? I always setting up the wrong number with the wrong number.
I hate that.
Oh.
Small, medium, large. This is the smallest number.
9 is the smallest number.
No, it's 6 is.
Sixes.
This is a small number.
On the other triangle.
So if you don't like small, medium, large, you can do between the 1 and the 2. Between the 1 and the 2 is 8 and 12. That is one proportion that would work. Those are corresponding parts of proportional triangles. And then between 1 and blank is 10 and x. So you cross multiply 120 divided by 8, you get 15. Yes?
I did it differently.
Did you still get 15?
Yeah.
Then you're good. Different strokes for different folks, Aaron.
Why did you have to remind
Number
me?
21.
Huh?
Number 21, I got 2 over 15.
Why
So
are we
50
like-
number 2.
Oh. I was looking at this 21. I was like, you were smoking.
2 over 15. Did you check your work? Did it work?
Is it? Yeah.
2 times 2 over 15. Huh? Miles. Now I'm.
Because at the end I got 3 is equal, 30 is equal to 4x. And that's
And divide by 4.
Divide by 4.
And then you get 7.5.
15 over 2.
He didn't math wrong. He just wrote the fraction wrong. Dude, he is going off.
He's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, and the
I think you divided by the wrong number on accident. It should be 30 divided by 4. It is 7.5.
Oh, I see what
So I think you mistakenly did this.
I thought 30.
Mistakenly did that. That's how you got 2 over 15. Instead of dividing by 4. It's small things. Good conversation though. In that scenario, different strokes for different folks does not. Oh, here we go.
Oh, you didn't even finish your second.
Oh, I got too excited about this.
I was looking at this.
We got 10 minutes. We better speed it up.
Oh.
Oh, you got the range.
Oh.
Do you remember the
Yes.
magic? So
Yes.
all I care about is setting it up correctly. Go ahead, Blake.
Alright, x over 12.
What? Where'd you get at?
Line D.
Important to know that we're solving.
Yeah, yeah. X is line DB.
Yeah, make it
I'm asking for the measurement of line DB that goes back to topic 1 and how you pronounce
Yeah.
that. Okay?
There.
Okay.
Okay. X over 12
X over 12.
equals 12 over 16.
Wait.
You have to have the same.
No, it's 16.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Taylor, you have to make sure that you have a geometric mean.
Oh, I thought the X was sitting. Oh, wait, never mind. I see it now.
Okay.
I was thinking the X was over there.
Cross multiply and solve. 9.
No?
9.
Oh,
Not no, but 9.
9.
N-I-N-E. I-X.
9x.
I-X.
Oh,
Roman
IX,
numerals.
like the- yeah, okay.
Pretty sure it's 9.
Got you there.
Yeah, it is.
It is 9. Good. Do I have to follow the instructions or just do it?
right?
No, because on your test it's just one variable.
I'm gonna get there and completely.
HF, that is this one right here.
Oh.
That should key you to one specific postulate. X over 20
20 over 25.
8 16
8 16?
16?
Or 16?
Yes?
Can we math it?
Oh, I know what it is. It's 400 divided by 25.
That's 64.
That is a great question.
8.
Because there's 16 quarters in $4.
Dude.
Duh.
Oh, I just went-
Okay? This is the part that I'm worried about. If you can't set it up correctly, you have no chance.
Great.
Remember, there is a different stroke for the different folk. You could separate all three triangles and then write your proportions. It just takes a lot more time, and it's a 24-question test, and whatever you don't finish is wrong.
No.
Yeah,
I think you got it right.
you get the period. That's all you get. JK. No.
15 over 32.
We're trying to solve for this length right here.
X over 32.
What?
I'm confused.
15 over 32. And then equals 32 over x.
No.
Didn't you
X
said
plus
you said x over?
No, I just want to solve for the entire length.
Okay.
Because if you solve for 15 plus x, you'll get an x value, and then you have to add your x value to 15 to find the whole length.
And that's too much work.
Too much work. There is a postulate that says short leg over hypotenuse equals hypotenuse, or short leg over hypotenuse. So solve for the whole hypotenuse, don't solve for half of it.
Yeah.
There's one in here that's like pretty dirty. QS. That's kind of the same thing we just did. Not going to talk about that one. That one's super easy. This one's not bad. That one's not bad. This one is filthy.
Oh.
That's a lot.
The one I skipped.
It's the one you skip.
Oh
So,
wait, no, I get it.
please elaborate.
Okay, so you do. Wait, what are we trying to find though?
Exactly.
The
We're trying to
value
find
of
x.
the
X.
variable.
Oh,
This is
why
like
am I
those
trying to
questions
find x?
yesterday where you have to take a preliminary step
I got
to
you.
solve what we're doing. Please don't.
Never mind.
It doesn't matter. You can pick y right here. We can choose what. We can choose to solve for this length right here. So that would be y over 12 equals 12 over the whole length 20. That's going to return a decimal like 7.8. That is the answer, 7.8. Right? So now you've just established that 7.8 is this length. You can do a little bit of math and figure out this length, 20 minus 7.8, 12.2. Now you can do 7.8 over x equals x over 12.2 just by solving for one of the lengths. Yes, sir.
I think that's the long way. It's an easier way.
What is the easier way?
You could do the triangle thing that you taught us.
What?
Where you split
Please
it
elaborate,
Oh.
Aaron.
The a squared plus b squared equals c squared?
No.
Yes?
No.
It's the, what's it, x over 12? And x over 12 and,
Oh.
you see?
So you're doing long leg over hypotenuse equals
Long leg.
16 over
16 is long leg.
16 is the long leg?
Yeah.
16 is I knew.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it is.
16 is the long
16
one.
over-
16 over 20.
Over 20.
It's 16 over 20.
Oh, I see what you're saying. What'd you get for your answer? What answer did you get?
I didn't do it.
Come
I
on,
just saw
calculate
it.
that real quick.
I just saw it.
Oh, come on, Blake, you're not
Get
gonna.
out.
16 as well as
And
Where are you at, Blake?
I don't know.
Silent, that's
I
what I
thought you were
thought.
gonna like hedge math it.
You need method and
Math magic.
Whatever the radical comes out to is not.
48 divided by 5.
Yeah.
Control
48
enter.
divided by
9.6, that works.
1.6.
Yeah, it is. It does work. So I was too smart for my own good. What about what radical?
Oh, I was just saying when you multiply the two decimals together
Oh,
and then find the square root of it.
so in that instance, you would just because you're working with decimals, you would just use the decimals for root, and it comes out to 9.6 perfectly. I had an issue with that one, but I didn't think I would bring it up. I was wrong. That one sucks too.
That one sucks, dude.
So same thing here. Shadow over height equals shadow over height. Huh? Yeah, and you get like 4 and 15/16, like 0.9375.
Thanks.
15/16. These are not bad. Which triangle is similar to that one? Just check and make sure that short, small, medium, large proportions out. Multiple choice, multiple choice, multiple choice. Guess and check. Not really. They're an extended proportion, 3 to 4 to 5. All the angles, it's 3x and 4x and 5x all add up to 180. We've done this question before. If you add all these together, you get 12 x's. X equals 15. When you divide, that means that your 3x angle is 45 degrees, your 4x angle is 60 degrees, and your 5x angle is 75 degrees. So they all add up to 180 inside the triangle. And if you check cross products, like 3 over the 45 degree angle and 4 over the 60 degree angle, you get 180 and 180, so they are all proportional measures. Hey, finished just in the nick of time. And I sped through that bad boy. If you want extra points, finish the review. Sometimes you might need those 10 points to get that above 100 mark because you miss a silly 1 or 2 questions. Blake Hollingshead.
I do that all the time.
Take a little bit of time and work on that. It's going to pay dividends tomorrow when you take your test. See how long it takes you. You're doing 24 questions. Some are open response.